Before we begin this episode, a quick message to the CHC audience.
We would like to invite you to check out another podcast that we enjoy.
Hi, this is Dan.
And this is Taylor.
And we are Dan and Taylor of the You Watch, I Listen podcast. The movies you need to see.
The albums you need to hear.
And the bullshit nonsense banter you never knew you needed. Join us each week as we break down movies,
music,
and every other thing you needed to know from the world of movies, music, video games, politically correct culture, and everything else in between. Visit us at youwatchilisten.com.
And follow us on all forms of social media, as well as we're on Apple, iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're everywhere we need to be.
And you can find us again at youwatchilisten.com. Facebook, Twitter. Join us, join the laughs, and join the bullshit.
Let you in on an aspect of the world that you're not normally accustomed to.
I could have been a totally different person.
Yeah, right now.
Since 12 hours ago.
Could have been wearing a business suit today. Who knows?
With a fanny pack.
With a fanny pack. Just classing up the joint.
That's a fantastic idea.
It's the only kind of ideas I have, sir.
It's Corner House Chronicles Day.
It's just different enough.
And here's the kicker, boss. They're all the same personality.
They're assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 1.5 million asshole penguins.
Best part.
I'm going to try and pace it out, so just as you forget about me, I'll just pop in and remind you.
Welcome back, folks. This is the Corner House Chronicles, episode 84. I'm John.
I'm Jason.
And with us tonight,
I'm Mike.
Mike's in the house. All the way from Chi-Town.
Hey-o. Representing the Cubs, I see.
Yep, I left the wind there, brought a little rain.
That was you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're on the north side or the south side?
North side.
North side. And that's the more safer side, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
People get the south side a little bit misconstrued. Really, it's only
certain areas.
Maybe two neighborhoods that are like that, and it's kind of a...
It's pretty industrial down there, too.
Yeah. It's a lot like Gary, Indiana, basically. It's just, it's just like a lot of refineries, steel plants. It stinks over there real bad.
Driving through Gary is an interesting time if you, the listener, have the opportunity to do so. It's creepy as fuck.
It's one place where you wouldn't want your car to break down.
No.
Okay.
I've gone to Chicago a few times. Most of the time we drive there. And going through Gary, like the thing that stands out in my head is like next to the highway there was this big plot of land and there was just old-ass fucking trailer. They would haul cars, and it was just stacked with like 80 goats.
Wow.
Huh. There was like a rundown house that looked like nobody lived there, and there was just like 80 goats just standing there. It was the weirdest shit. Then we stopped in at, I don't know, Piggly Wiggly or whatever the fuck they have there.
Yep.
And it was creepy. Like, one of the chicks with us wanted to use the bathroom, and that's why we stopped. She walked in, ran back to the car, and it was like, I need at least two of you to come in and, like, stand by the door, because I'm getting looks. And you walked in there, and there was this, like, good old boys, just creepy, like, tweaker-looking people. They're like, it was an odd environment in this building. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, it's it's pretty safe over where I live, man. It's the same old shit that you get here, you know. A little bit of carjackings, few people get robbed, you know. I mean, it's just people not looking out for themselves,
right.
You know.
City life.
Wandering in the wrong neighborhood and be like, no, it's safe.
Yeah, hey.
The windows down.
When you're wandering down the alley at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, and you get mugged and you wonder why, that's why.
Don't go down that alley.
Exactly.
Especially by yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't even do it. I mean, I don't proclaim myself a badass or anything, but you know where you belong and you know where you don't belong, and that's all there is to it.
Absolutely,
it's true.
Put yourself in enough situations over the course of a lifetime,
you're gonna learn.
You get to a point where you're like, "This is a bad situation. I'm just not going to do that."
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I do love it, man. A lot of good stuff there.
Oh man, Chicago and the surrounding areas are wonderful.
I think maybe 2 years ago I was only like 3 blocks from the stadium. So that was
awesome.
Nice. They won the World Series. I was right there that night. You know, got to kind of have fun with all the
party with the city.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was electric.
Yeah, you know, living here in Detroit for I don't know 36 years or whatever it was. Even being a Tigers fan my whole life and watching them '84 and this and that, it doesn't compare. It doesn't compare to what I seen and what I like. Those people didn't have a championship for 108 years, man. You want to talk about dedication to baseball. Them people are so dedicated, man. I fell in love, man. I seen Wrigley Field. I fell in love.
Could you see it from where you lived? Like, did you have a clear view, or did you have to like turn the corner to see it? Or
no,
what?
I was literally. The stadium was on the other side of the road, so I just had to walk down straight 3 blocks, and it's right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
like going to a game, you're like, oh yeah, I got 10 minutes. I can make it.
and what was really cool about it, like the concerts and stuff like that, man, like Dead and Company and things like that would come. You couldn't get a ticket if you tried. I'd go stand out on the outside of the stadium, man. You want to talk about a party. I haven't partied like that since high school, man. All these deadheads, doing balloons, smoking a little weed, drinking. Cops let you have a good time. Hey,
damn.
I'm getting ready to go June 14th and 15th. They're getting ready to play again. I won't miss it. I'm telling you, it's a good time.
The Grateful Dead?
It's Dead and Company. John Mayer plays. Mayer plays guitar for him now.
Huh.
So it's actually really good. I never listened to Dead my whole life.
Me neither.
I just started listening to him maybe the last 3 or 4 years. But I get into a lot of blues and stuff like that, and just anything guitar. So I mean, I really I like them. It's good. They can do 8-9 minutes without any lyrics. So
dude, one time I was like 20, I think, and I got a free ticket with some people to go see Fish.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Bro, you want to talk about out of your element. These cats were dancing on the steps.
Crazy
up and down.
Too, right?
I
went 2 years ago at Wrigley.
The Palace of Auburn Hills was on hallucinogenics and not me. I was in this suite just standing there watching everybody freak out like, man, this is crazy. Yep. Of course, it was before we all had a camera in our pocket, or else it would have made for great YouTube content,
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about out of your element. Boy, I was lost in a sea of strange.
No, but I'm ready to get back. I miss the Michigan. I miss my people, friends. So it's hard to leave after 36 years, man, and actually start completely over, trust people, get friends again.
Oh, yeah, we got a friend of the show here, my buddy Steve, the one that does all my tattoos, moving out to San Diego as we speak.
Really?
Just packing up, sold it, got a job offer.
Oh, shit. Good for him.
Yeah.
You talking about Biondo?
Biondo.
Oh, Biondo. Yeah, I call him Biondo. Okay. Yeah. Right on.
He's out going to San Diego.
Ah,
a whale's vagina.
It's a nice place.
People do that all the time, though.
Yeah.
They just, they got to go. You got to go.
It's changed.
I've had people move to Florida.
Yeah.
Good buddies, you get used to seeing them on a regular basis, or family. I mean, you left.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
I left for personal reasons, to be honest with you, man. I was drinking a lot. Whiskey, almost a fifth a day, dude. Just destructing my life, plus 12 to 15 beers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
need a change of scenery.
No, I realized, man, if I didn't move and I didn't get away
change your habits
and quit
and just,
doing what I was doing, bad. And I'll tell you what, I left. I put the bottle down that day. I didn't pick up another one for almost a year. Now I can drink whenever I want. It doesn't bother me,
Right.
But,
you learned your limit.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Completely, man. Completely.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, speaking of beers, I'm going to go ahead and grab the beer of the week. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, get it. Does it say Michigan?
So,
what? What do we got here?
Gander.
I got to be honest with you. Since we started doing this whole craft beer experience, it's hard to find a steady brewery that makes nothing but good beers. Big Lake Brewing in Holland, Michigan. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've had a bad one yet. No bad experience. Matter of fact,
they make the shelf.
There's one on the shelf as we speak, Michigan Amber. And because it's the holiday weekend,
Memorial. Yeah.
Nice big American flag on the can, and it's called Michigander. Once again from Big Lake Brewing.
I'm really digging the can, man.
It is a sharp can.
Yeah.
I like the fishing hook around the eye. I mean, there's a lot
little
going on in this little simple
Tell you what,
picture.
you get you a paint marker, you could put you a little guy in there fishing and everything, man.
Well, the last
Spice
one,
it up a little.
the Michigan Amber that we have on the shelf right up there.
Yeah.
It's just a guy in a little rowboat. It reminded us of our grandpa.
Yep.
So I picked this boy up. I figured, let's go.
Give it a try.
Happy holidays. Here's to Memorial Day and all that means to all of our service people around the country. Thank you. We salute you, those here, those not with us anymore, still serving, all the good stuff. Cheers to it.
Cheers to it.
So, Michigander is a session IPA brewed with Masonic, Simcoe, Amarillo hops for the everyday Michigander.
Seems like you say those names of hops a lot.
Yeah, Simcoe, for sure. Amarillo's here and there. Mosaic is always...
Like, they just keep coming back up. It's the same hops.
I think it tastes like a really good Oberon.
It tastes like an IPA, yeah.
Tastes like a really good Oberon.
Good tasting beer.
And it's not overpowering with the citrusy hop taste.
I could see myself maybe drinking this on the holiday, standing over the grill.
Ooh, I also want to point out on the label here, on the gander part is actually a lighthouse on the A.
Look at that.
And for those that don't know, Michigan has the most lighthouses out of any other state.
Really?
Really?
I did not know that.
The more you know. Learning with the Corner House Chronicles.
I do enjoy it, though.
Big Lake Brewing has not disappointed.
Nope. Fishing must be like a pretty big thing up in Holland.
I would
maybe,
assume so.
Because a lot of their cans
have to reveal around the outdoorsy.
It's summertime, though, I guess. Maybe it could just be, a spring thing.
I've never noticed that.
Man, that is tasty. I don't like IPAs, and yeah, I'm digging it.
I have to say, Big Lake Brewing, we might have to sneak a special lampy in at the end of the year for like most consistent brewery.
I agree.
They just keep pumping out good product.
They're definitely in the lead.
Because you got like Bells and Shorts, they put out such a wide large catalog.
Same thing with Founders.
And
all the bigger ones.
Dark Horse, you're going to get a couple of beers where you're like,
this is true, but
whatever.
They're trying to blanket all the consumers instead of just a small little pocket and slowly build.
Yeah.
I would assume back in their earlier years, they were more like that. I can only guess.
It's a good bet.
Yeah. Revolution is a big beer out where we're at. That's all there is on tap. Revolution.
I see that everywhere around here in the stores.
It's huge.
And because it's not Michigan, we haven't tried it yet, but we have a new thing.
Episode 88.
88. Every show number that ends in 8, we're going to do a different beer from a different state.
They switch them so fast. Once I find one that I like, it's hard to find it again, or it goes limited
seasonal
edition.
Or you gotta wait for next spring.
It's they have a Whole Foods there actually, right down the street from my house. It's one of the biggest Whole Foods.
It's a monstrous one, I would assume.
Yeah, it's
if it's the one in downtown.
Yeah, you'll dig. No, it's not downtown. It's actually right in North Side where I live.
All right.
But it's 2 stories. It's got a beer place in it. You can go in there and get you a beer, whatever you want. You can put it in your cart and drive around with your beer. They got a little wine bar, they got a little coffee bar, and then they got a bourbon bar.
Oh shit!
Damn,
sweet, right? So you go
I'm
in there.
getting drunk grocery shopping.
Yeah, exactly. And so you take your girl there, let her go do the shopping. You're sitting there, drink a little bit, watch a
taking
little
some
bit
samples.
of sports.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, man. But they got a big chalkboard, and the whole thing is like 30 beers, nothing but Revolution beers. So I'll go in there and I'll find one and I'll like, and then by the time I go back next week,
it's gone.
Like I said, it's gone. It's not there, and they put out so much beer that I don't even know what I like or what I want to taste. Like these IPAs are so new to me that it's crazy, man.
And with the IPAs, there's varying hits of the hops, like much like this one's pretty mellow,
right?
And then there's some that are just like you just bit into a grapefruit, and you're like, oh god, Jared's mom. Do we have any of those left?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think Pez finished off the last one.
It's still weird that I don't know. For me and you, not a fan. Everyone else that's been on the show, fucking loved it.
I imagine if I had it now, because I don't think I tried it when we had it when it was brought over the second time there. I wonder if I'd like it now.
That's a good question.
Just because we've had so many different IPAs. I mean, they're just like this is good.
Yeah.
A year ago,
trash.
I wouldn't have made it. You know, it was all about the dark beers, the browns, the
porters,
the porters. Yeah.
See, I'm not a big brown beer fan. Guinness, nah. Smithwick's. You ever had Smithwick's?
I've heard of them.
Yes.
Never tried
it. That's a good beer. But I like the amber beers. I miss the amber beers, like Killian's Irish Red. That used to be so good. Now I can't find anything that compares to a good like amber beer.
Saugatuck.
Oh,
Bonfire Brown
is amazing.
It's probably not quite the amber you're looking for, but it's a fucking delicious beer.
It's not like
that
other
Michigan
brown
amber
beers.
right there.
It was delightful.
Dude, grab some of that before you leave and head back home. That shit right there is fucking good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Try that.
Same brewery as these guys. So, shit, Electron Brown.
Yeah, Electron Brown.
That's a
really
good
tasty
brown
too,
one,
but
too.
that's more of a brown than Saugatuck, I would think. It had more of a
More bite to it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You need better lighting in the studio, John.
It's a work in progress.
Stand up and flip
You got
that light.
you got an old blind guy sitting over here trying to read a beer can.
Oh,
There's a light right above your head. Just flip that on.
we keep it classy here, folks.
It's not much help, but it's a little bit.
A little bit.
A little backlighting for you. The other thing that we have now, always on tap here in the studio, is Coors Banquet. And that is because of Mr. John Lawrence from Cobra Kai.
Oh,
Do you watch the show?
I do actually.
Have you watched the whole 2 seasons yet?
No, only the first one, and I'm up to like the 3rd episode, I believe, on the 2nd.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about season
I
1
dig
at
it,
least.
man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
dig
It's
it.
a great show, isn't it?
I dig it. Oh, you guys could even spoil it for me, and I would still watch it. It doesn't
yeah.
matter.
We wouldn't want to do that though, because there's some good stuff in season 2 that you're just going to be excited about.
Either
Well,
6 or 7 when the
The thing happens with the guy
when
in
they
the
go to the
hat.
bar.
Oh yeah,
the bar
yeah.
scene.
The bar scene's pretty dope.
That's tight. Dude.
Yeah. I like how they look at each other like, oh yeah, we still do that, huh?
Mm-hmm. I want to shoot some pool. You want to shoot some pool with me?
I'll
See,
shoot some
now I
pool
want
with
to
you.
know. Now I want to know.
You got to
Inquiring
watch those
minds wanna
episodes.
know.
Mm-hmm. You'll catch up quick. It's only a
yeah.
half-hour show.
Yeah.
But because he drinks the Coors Banquet
The whole time.
every episode, I was
Oh,
like, you know
okay.
what? Let's get some of those and give it a shot. It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on Mike Tyson's hot boxing and things.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
great.
So I've been watching a lot of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I've been stuck on podcasts. You know, Joe Rogan. So
There's a lot of quality podcasts out there.
Did you see who Rogan had on yesterday?
Ah.
Tommy Chong.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet,
Oh, that'll be good.
but I'm looking forward to it.
I'll tell you another good show. It's on Viceland, I think it is. It's called Bong Appetit, and now it's done with like Be Real, and it's like a whole cooking show.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you what, man, really cool. You can learn a lot of shit. I mean, it's really, really, really cool.
He was a fantastic story on Rogan.
oh, that was
Be Real?
Oh,
Be
yeah.
Real? Oh, man.
Great episode.
Yeah, he's been a big advocate for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you
since
know?
before it was popular.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't know it yet, you know.
Nobody predicted it would get this far, this
That's
quick.
true. Yeah.
Not at least
No.
I didn't.
No.
I thought it was going to take
no.
a lot longer.
I didn't
to
think
get
I
where
would
they
ever
are.
see this day.
Right.
I'd never.
I'm really enjoying all the celebrities who were actually into this, who were starting their own companies and bringing forth product.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Mike Tyson, that blew me out of the water when I found out that he has his own fucking
He's going to open one of the biggest weed
Tyson
ranches
Ranch,
there
yeah.
is ever.
and slash resort.
Yep.
Throwing that out there.
Oh, there's gonna be
Yep.
concerts there.
Oh,
and
it's gonna be
shit.
amazing.
I'm putting it on my
The
bucket
man's a
list.
fucking genius.
I want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
that
once.
fucking gift box he gave Joe Rogan, his little humidor filled with just every fucking joint, fucking blunt, everything.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my friend last night. We were actually watching one of the podcasts, and he was saying, "Doesn't Mike sound dumb to you, like the way he talks?" And I said, No. I said, "Have you ever sat and listened to him talk?" And he goes, "No, not really." I said, "Well, he can name damn near every boxer from like the late 1800s, who they
The whole
fought, how
lineage,
many
yeah.
rounds they went, and." I mean, the man is very, very sharp. He may have never finished school.
He's not,
he may,
yeah,
you know
he's
what
not
I
like
mean?
formally educated, but he's still a smart man.
Very, very, very smart.
And after he
man.
got out of the boxing game, he
Very
took it
smart.
upon himself to like educate
Yeah.
himself.
Well, he had to. He had to get away from exercise. And
Oh yeah,
working
he had to
out
get
because
out
it
of,
drives
away
him
from
crazy.
that version of himself.
Shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever took enough shots to the head
To be
really to
punchy
make
and-
him
yeah, I
kind
don't
of
think so
mushy in
either.
the head. You know what I
No.
mean? I don't think he ever took that. He always gave him. He never really took enough to become like that. So.
His
did-
problem would have been
Outside the
You're
ring.
right.
Yeah.
extracurricular.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Watched the interview with him, and he was discussing about taking DMT and how that changed his outlook on life. And more people that are coming forward and saying their experience with it has been a positive mood move.
I haven't heard a negative yet.
Yeah,
No.
like he was talking about, like, it completely showed me that I was 100% ego, and it showed me who I really was under that, and I didn't like who that was. I wanted to build that person up, and not just be like, I'm the champ, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to do this and do whatever I want. He's like, I was done with that guy.
Yep.
He's like, and that completely washed away the ego and showed how insignificant I was, and I've never seen myself like that before.
Yep.
And he started like crying a little bit while he was
that's
talking
where he was
about
saying.
it.
He said, "I'm not that guy anymore."
Yeah.
You know, he just don't relate to that person anymore, and I think that's really cool.
That's amazing. And
Well, it's the ultimate in human growth,
it really is,
right?
To let go.
Realize,
to acknowledge
absolutely.
what you were
and to let go and try to move on and grow.
purposefully not go back to
Yeah.
it, you know.
But
Absolutely.
you could see the interviewers just like off guard with like, all right, Mike Tyson's getting misty on me here.
What do I do?
What do I do? And he was asking good questions, and Mike Tyson's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he'd ask a question. He's like, I don't talk about that, or I don't want to go down that road because that's the old version of who he was. And he didn't want to really acknowledge and go back to that. He's like, I'm past that.
Somebody should side by side that interview with that most recent R. Kelly meltdown. And be like the two completely.
I'm not familiar with that.
When R. Kelly was like flipping out when the lady was asking him questions, and he was like, "Y'all keep treating me like this," and blah blah blah. He's crying all over himself. And he jumps up and he's walking around the room. Oh, you got to watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Complete meltdown.
Yeah.
The opposite spectrum of how to handle an interview.
Yeah,
Kind of like how OJ did it when he got interviewed on TV. You know, he was like, "I didn't do it."
Yeah, it was very.
Like, are you sure you didn't?
extravagant,
Like, are
you
you
know?
sure you weren't there, man?
Dude, like,
I think you were.
you're acting really guilty right now.
Right. Like they have videos here showing that you were here, bro.
Well, speaking of the OJ thing, I think a year and a half to 2 years ago, one of the police officers that were the first responders on the scene passed away. And
A deathbed confessional.
no,
Oh.
they were going through his shit,
Oh.
and they found the knife.
Oh yeah,
Get the
right.
fuck
And
outta
I heard
here.
that came out of somebody dug it up out of one of the backyards.
Yeah,
and he
if that-
acquired it.
Yeah, because
He never turned it into evidence.
He never.
They turned it into the police station. And he was like, "Oh, I'm just going to keep this
He
shit."
wanted
and
to.
kept it.
He
for
wanted to put it
himself.
on like a plaque
Yep.
and be like, "This was the murder weapon." Otherwise, OJ was fucked.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was like, how do you just fucking like, oh god, they're murder, and you think OJ did it? I'm taking the knife, dude. This is going on eBay.
Well, the thing
Tight.
about it was the dude was already in jail, so he figured, well, fuck it, I might as well just keep it now since
That's
he's
true.
already in jail. you
that's
know?
still crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you
basically,
not-
he was already guilty
Yeah.
in everybody's eyes,
Yeah.
you know.
man.
That's great. Yeah, that is nuts. How would you hold on to something like that?
Oh,
I'd be calling TMZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo.
how much money you got, TMZ?
Guess what I got?
You want to see it?
Next thing you know, John, you're going to be digging in the backyard. You find Hoff.
Yeah.
He just throws him in the deep freeze. He's like, no, I'm just going to
Nah,
keep him in
I'll
here.
be on
I
the
ain't gonna
phone.
Tell nobody.
Who am I calling?
You know, Sasquatch got some fancy shoes. Oh man.
So I got this video.
Oh.
We were talking about intelligence just a second ago and humans and different things, and the technology moves quick, right?
Sure does.
We've all seen the robot videos where it's a robot on all fours, looks like a dog,
Yep.
gets
And
up,
they kick it and knock-
hops
yeah.
and opens doors and shit. I mean, there's a lot going on, right?
Looks like those little iPod dogs that they used to have. You'd like put an iPod in it, and it would just like dance around. You're-
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, whether that thing is pre-programmed to move like that or somebody's controlling it with a joystick on a remote control, either way, right?
No, it's pre-programmed.
You remember the TV show where the people would build their own robots and they would fight them to the death in the little pit on
BattleBots.
BattleBots,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Okay.
still going. Still going.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary because people are way smarter now than when that show started. Okay, so
It's still fun, man.
you have these robots and you have these people building these robots to destroy each other. And I'm going to pass this around here.
Oh, the kid?
And let you see this kid
Did
built.
we talk about this kid?
I don't think so. If
So-
we did, I don't remember.
The kid's like 13, 14, and when he was like 8, he got into Bitcoin.
Is that I didn't see? I don't know the backstory. I just watched the video. This kid built his own Dr. Octopus contraption on his back.
I don't know if we talked about it, but I did have it lined up for a conversation piece a couple shows ago, and I don't think we got to it.
Okay,
So this kid made a deal with his parents.
we're talking about the kid in this video.
This kid, the
Okay,
same kid. He made a deal with his parents. He's hated school.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to stop going to school. And his mom and dad were like, if you can make $1 million by the time you're 14, you don't have to go to school anymore. The kid's
That's
like,
a solid deal. I mean, that's 6 years.
yeah. Kid's like, done.
Okay.
So his older brother, I believe it was his older brother, and other kids at school started talking about Bitcoin when it first came out.
That's amazing.
And he was like, all right. So he started mining Bitcoin in like fucking junior high. By freshman year, he was worth over $2 million.
That's insane.
So his parents were like, well, fuck. All right.
So long school.
Yeah.
Did the parents get a cut? That's what I'm asking.
Probably. I mean,
Okay.
They had a nice house.
Yeah,
If you like
all
watch
right.
the interview with the kid. I
I'm
don't
sure
know if
the
it's
kid
kid's
showed.
house.
I'm sure the kid showed Dad how to Bitcoin.
Oh
after
yeah, yeah.
that, you know.
And he kept mining it throughout, but he did take some out. And yeah, he teamed up with some scientists, and he made a Dr. Octopus backpack with fully functioning arms. And it shows in the video of him actually, right there, he's lifting a train rail with the assistance of those arms.
Now, that right there, hold up. I got to back this video up. For those of you listening, I apologize because it's
back
not.
it up.
This suit uses 3D printed parts. This is where I was going with this.
100% 3D printed.
We are now building Dr. Octopus suits, right? So, do you remember the movie Avatar?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
big-
watched Fern Gully, if that counts.
The big fucking machine that they're in operating?
I've never
Oh
seen
yeah,
Avatar.
that he's inside of that he controls.
Yeah, so it's
Giant
like a...
mech suit. I don't know. I've never seen Avatar, but
like, that's basically what
Okay.
it is. Bro.
is it like a fancier version of like Aliens, the fucking
Yeah, pretty much.
front loader?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right.
How far away do you think we are from that shit actually
have
happening?
those.
Like,
Could
yeah,
already-
but I mean,
yeah.
where we see it on the news, you turn the news on and they're on the, going into war. That's our front line.
Oh, soon.
Think so?
Oh, fucking DARPA? Jesus.
They'll probably
Are you
they'll
familiar-
probably test them out in the desert first.
Are you familiar with DARPA?
Maybe.
Well, I didn't know.
Let's hear
No, I'm not.
All right, DARPA is the group who actually make those robots that look like dogs or horses and run and shit.
Oh, okay. They're like a technology firm or something like that.
No, they're part of the military.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's a government branch. Yeah. They're not talked about that often.
That's
But,
how I liked it.
so it's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It's an agency of the United States Department of Defense. So they make all these crazy robots. They have like very small, it's like about as wide as a matchbook, about as tall as a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
Okay.
Not like standing up, but like from, if you hold a pack of cigarettes on the side, there it's about that tall.
Right.
Okay.
And it has little tank treads, right? So that's how it moves, and it has a little camera where you can add attachments. But on the bottom and on the top is a little fucking arm that's on an actuator, and it has a very high fling, kind of like a catapult. So as it's going, they'll pop it on the bottom, and it can go almost 2 stories and go on a roof.
You know, those guys actually started building spiders during the Iraq War.
Yes,
I don't know,
sir.
you remember? Did you ever see those? They were like really real looking, man, and they cameras on them and whatever, and they
Yes,
would just
sir.
let them go and put them in wherever they needed them to crawl through. And I was like, wow, that's some real shit. And then you see the bees.
Yep.
Richie Rich.
They've done the bees.
Or Fifth Element.
Fucking
with
Richie
the
Rich
cockroach.
movie. There. Oh yeah. Oh
Exact
shit. I
same-
forgot about that one too.
Same shit.
So what's next? You know,
They
the
Fucking
pterodactyl.
full on human robotic exoskeletons.
some
like
contractors
dog
that have
dude.
worked with DARPA, they did a TED talk, and they were making what's the actual term for those?
Be like an
exoskeleton
Iron Man suit.
suits for the paraplegic.
Yep.
And they wheeled a guy out who's never walked. He was strapped onto this suit, and through like connectors in his brain, he used the suit as his legs, and he started walking around. He's like, "This is the first time I've ever walked in my life."
Wow.
And then they had another person come out who had like is a more upper body focused one, and it was lifting like extremely heavy objects.
Wow.
And they were equating it like he's twice as strong as a gorilla, if that helps equate.
And all doing it with his mind.
Yeah, it was like well, the one guy who was walking had it connected to sensors in his brain. The dude who was lifting stuff was just a suit that was just
okay.
assisting.
Okay.
But it was
Okay.
taking like 90% of
That's
the fucking
amazing,
effort.
though.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
They have talked about the armed forces capabilities of these suits. They haven't said they're being tested or anything like that, but I would have to imagine, like the B-52, like the stealth bombers and that, they were using that in the 70s. And they declassified that in the mid-90s. So there's a ton of crazy shit that's probably in use now that we're not going to find out about for years and years.
Question.
Throw it out there.
Do you think Elon Musk is working with the military and the government? Or do
In
you
any capacity?
any
or,
capacity?
Yes.
Or do you think he's just side project?
I guarantee
all-
he's on a
yes.
few different
Oh,
boards.
yeah. They're not going to let that guy dig fucking tunnels underneath.
Oh, yeah. He has
like,
too much money and too much.
They don't just let anybody dig tunnels underneath a state. You know
Right.
what I mean? And put in a highway. From
Yes,
here
that's
to-
actually
I mean,
a while back. He was talking about that.
Yeah.
Really?
He was Starlink. He's going to give internet to the world for free,
I think it's a good thing.
12,000 satellites. He wants to surround the
and they're
planet
tiny
with.
too.
I think
like,
it's
they're
a
not,
good thing, even if he was working with the government. I think it's good because he kind of wants to change a lot of things that we need to change, and the government don't kind of see like it needs to be changed. So I think if he
and that's why he starts doing it on his own.
and if he
like
works,
SpaceX, and he was like, "No, we can do it better for
Right.
cheaper." And they're like, we don't know." And he's like, "Watch me, bitch."
I'm gonna tell you, man. When I watched that rocket just a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you've seen it. It shot up some kind of shot up food and stuff to him, but then. The way that
They can re-land it to reuse it.
did you see how they just come right down and they just
So easy.
they park right down where
Yeah.
they took off from. They don't land in the middle of the ocean no more or nothing. I was
Have
like,
you seen the videos? They actually
and no parachute or nothing.
no.
It just
They control the actual fucking thrust to bring it back down. They've had tests where they put platforms out in the ocean
Yeah.
in rough waters, and they landed straight on them perfectly. Like
Put that in a suit, Iron Man.
he will be the first person. He will be the fucking supreme ruler of Mars with an Iron Man suit.
You know what I think it is?
What if he could travel back from Mars in his Iron Man suit and he was like, he would come
Eventually.
back like once a month and he would be like, okay, here's what you got to do. I'll be back in a month. And he takes off.
I think he's Tesla reincarnated to come back and kinda
that'd be
like
amazing.
capture his throne. You know what I'm saying?
Tesla was
For those who believe in reincarnation,
Oh my gosh.
that's genius.
that is genius.
That's
I
a,
could see
that's
that.
a spot on pick right
You
there.
can come back and do anything that you wanted to do before, and you can do it even better now.
Because he does have a lot of.
If you
the
think about little
oddball
kids, man, that are
mentality
2,
that he
3
has.
years old,
Yeah.
they come out and they start
And they
playing,
tell the stories?
They start playing Mozart or whatever the
dude.
case may be. Those people are reincarnated somehow from somewhere.
There was a kid in Britain who was I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4, and on the TV it was like History Channel or something, and they were talking about like World War II fighter pilots.
Yeah.
And they showed a picture, and the kid just started freaking out.
Oh, that's where he was. He was saying where he was there.
He was the pilot. He was like, "That was
Yeah,
me," and
he
he started
showed-
naming all the people.
Yeah, he
named
showed
his
where
plane,
he got
how
killed.
how he
took
got
him
shot
to his
down.
grave and everything, man.
Everything. Like he talked to the family of
Yep.
the pilot and was like, "That's Linda. That's blah 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 blah. That was my wife." And like he's going into detail and like,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
oh, it's
that's some creepy shit.
Parallel
shit.
universes, bro. Parallel universes.
I still like to say it's collective conscious. I'm a firm believer in the
I
collective
think
conscious.
time just kind of. I think it kind of intermingles with each other every once in a while somehow.
I wouldn't doubt it. There's
We
a
need to come up
lot
with
of
a new
strange shit
name or a new word that brings all those theories into one.
together.
Yeah.
A melting pot of
Yeah.
theory.
We're going to trademark that before we even have the
We're
word.
pre-trademarking this.
Pre-trademark.
Patent pending, folks.
Our
Patent
first
pending.
pre-trademark.
Episode
like it.
84. Pre-trademark.
Nice.
It has to get there, though. I mean, we all, well,
Oh,
not
yeah.
we all, but
No.
we see what's going on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We can't be the only ones.
No.
No. It's like deja vu. I've been having a lot of that happening lately.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's like shit dreams or just random thoughts from years ago that are like, oh, and then you're in that experience, you're like, this is exactly the same.
This is that moment.
And there has to be some, I don't know.
There's an actual word for that.
My theory
For
And it's
deja
just-
vu?
It's more than just deja vu.
Yeah.
Like what
Like
you're
a deeper level of deja vu?
Yeah, it's just basically him just like going through his life, you know, kind of.
what I've thought about and my theory on this is like, you know, those times when you're just sitting there doing something and you just kind of blankly stare off, like doodling in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about shit, daydreaming, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a screensaver for your mind while it travels to these other points of when you actually experience the quote unquote deja vu.
Like it's almost like
when it
it's
happened.
uploading memories.
Like it's traveling like through yourself in a way, but through time, like he's saying.
Yeah. See, whenever I experience deja vu
That's not
or something like that, I try to think of it enough to where I try to figure out when it actually happened or when it may have happened or where I was like when that occurred. And I really never get to that point. But sometimes, man, I experience deja vu so bad it actually scares me.
Oh yeah, and
I've
you're
been scared
frightened
by
to
it.
continue on.
I've had people talking to me in conversations like me and you
That
right
happens
now.
to me all the time.
Exactly.
Me and my ex-wife, we could be driving down the road. We could have a conversation. She'd be saying something, and I mean, I'm generally not a rude person.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally tell her, it would start scaring me so bad. I'd tell her, could you
Shut
just
the
please
fuck up.
shut the fuck, like, stop saying what you're saying right now. You got to stop, because I would feel that if she kept saying whatever she was saying.
You already knew what your reaction was going to be.
Like, I
you didn't
knew-
want to like, do
You'd
I want
already
to
been
continue
there.
this
like
road?
I could already see it. I knew what had already happened and everything. And when I started experiencing stuff like that, man, I went and seen a therapist for a long time. I explained it to a therapist, and the therapist is like, "Oh no, you're just in regression, getting things out of you, and this and that." And I'm like,
No.
"It is part regression. You're right." I said, "But I don't think it's me." I was like, "I think it was another time, another date. But why is it happening with this person, and
Right.
only this person?" Or it's crazy, man. Deja vu happens in a lot of different ways.
I had one experience, and that was, it's still in my life, the strongest one, where I remembered a conversation I had with a person, and it was an odd conversation. And later on, I was traveling in a car with this person, and like I seen something out the window, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Final destination moment.
Exactly. I was like, "This is just like Bod." And I turned and I looked at the person. I was like, "Are you thinking about clothes for turtles?" And they just looked at me like I was fucking raping their mind. And they were like, "What the fuck?"
I got something a little kind of.
And I was like, "Are you thinking about clothes for turtles?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're not fucking with me." They were like, "I was gonna tell you." I was like, "You're gonna tell me about the fucking hat idea." And the person stopped the car and was like, "Yeah,
Get out.
pretty much." Like it freaked them out. And I was like, "All right, we're not talking about that. We're gonna continue."
It's
on
weird
here."
that the moment you can have like that, so personal for you,
Yeah.
affects another person in such a major way.
And you don't know how that's gonna fuck their
going
day
forward.
Going forward, yeah.
You guys said Final Destination earlier, and
Yeah.
I got a really weird. I was going to work one morning. I was going down Telegraph Road, and I just almost got to King Road. You know, it's only 2 lanes, and I was just passing the police station.
I would just like to point out, and I apologize for interrupting, I fucking hate King Road with a passion.
Yeah,
I hate everything that goes on King Road.
yeah. It's very unsafe road.
It's
It's like 6:30 in the morning, man. There's like 4 or 5 cars in my lane. I'm driving. There's this lady in front of me. It just wasn't doing the speed limit, so I just like riding. Something in my head told me, just get over. So I got over. I didn't pass this lady or nothing. I just kept going at speed, and I got up to 50 miles an hour or whatever. I scooted over, and something told me, get back over. I scooted over. I looked in my rearview mirror, and as soon as I looked in my rearview mirror, oncoming traffic came. This lady scooted over like 1.5 feet into oncoming traffic, hit her, spun her around like 3 times so fast, and the next car came up and just crammed her, and
Holy
like
shit.
shoved her over into a pole.
Dude, you'd have been right behind that.
And it happened right in front of the market, you know, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was right there in front of the market. And I pulled my car over to the side of the road. I got out of my car, I looked. There was no fucking cars on the road except for like the cars that had wrecked in my car. And I'm like, what is the fucking chance of this? It's 6:30, 6:45, and there's no fucking cars on Telegraph going this way or that way. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
That's fucking creepy.
It like really fucked me up, right? So I ran over to the car. I looked at the lady. She was hunched over the wheel. She was 86, you know. So I got my car, and the other people took care of shit. I went back to work. Told my boss what happened. I was shook up, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, I go home. I was living in Marion Manor right down on West Road down there. He calls me up. He goes, yeah, man, I was just in the market. He goes, that lady died, man. And I was like, fuck, man, that could have been me. And for some reason, man, something in my head told me, I was driving down that road and I did that before, and it told me, dude, just get over and get
like
around.
a spider sense, like this
is
wrong.
Man, it was just
the situation.
And it all
wrong.
happened within an instant.
Yeah.
It was crazy, bro. It was crazy as shit, man. I've seen probably at least 3, maybe 4 major accidents at that, like where people have died there.
Have you ever been driving and like say you just merged onto like say 94 or 75 or a highway and you're going and like within a minute of being on the road you look over and see a car and just get a bad vibe from that car?
Yeah. It happened way more when I was on a motorcycle. But yes, it's happened to me.
But to where you're just like, I need to not be anywhere near that vehicle.
Yeah. If they're going to go fast, I'll stay back.
Yeah. Have you ever like witnessed something happen after that feeling? I mean, yours is rather fucking similar
really.
To this, where you're like, I should probably get in the other lane.
You get the feeling, man. You know where you should be and you know where you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody was telling you to stay away that day.
Yeah. There has to be something to that. I don't know.
Oh, there's something. Yeah.
There is something.
I believe in people looking out for us, really. I don't know if I believe in spirits the right way or not, but I think people look out for you. I think you got like an angel that kind of looks out for you.
You got something, John?
Mm-hmm. Mine's off the record, though, so if you got something you want to contribute
I
to
do
the show,
have
go
something
ahead,
that
you do that.
So I worked in a warehouse for an extended period of time. And it was an auto parts warehouse. And they had...
I worked there.
John worked there. I got it.
Twice.
The expansion, the bigger part with all the bigger shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was walking through there. My job was to audit. Just, make sure counts were all right, update the inventory. And I was walking through, and it's mainly for forklifts and pallet jacks, rider pallet jacks, and like bigger equipment to go through there, not just walking. And the racks that store the actual shit go up about 40, 45 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking, and I was going, and I was like, I kind of feel like I have to sneeze, but it's not ready yet. So I stopped, and bam, sneezed. I was like, all right, that was out of nowhere. Cool. I took one step, and this like was maybe 3 seconds of time that this happened in. I took one step, and an alternator from the very top had fallen off a pallet because it was poorly put back into place and not wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
From 40 or 45 feet up, just whoo, dropped. And it missed my foot maybe by a foot, 12 inches.
That's good intuition.
And if I didn't stop to sneeze, I would have been clobbered by a fucking alternator from 40 feet in the air.
It's like getting hit in the head with a piano like Roger the Rabbit style.
Oh, yeah. I would have been either done or severely hurt. And I sat there for a second just thinking, like, if I didn't fucking stop to sneeze, like, I usually would just kept walking, sneezed, like, turn to the side, sneeze, kept moving. Like, I stopped. And it, like, my mind was like, no, let's stop and let's just get this out. If I didn't do that, I would have been severely fucked. And I've thought about that many times since then throughout my life. Like, all right.
Good. That's probably why it happened to you, so you would remember that moment.
Yeah.
Like, moments like that. Like, there's other times where, like, you have that feeling of just, like again, like, you see a car or something, like, I don't need to be by that guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be something behind that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know what, but something.
That's what I'm talking about, that pre-trademark. We got to come up with a word that encapsulates all those feelings into one description.
Man, there's time that those instances in your life where shit like that happens, and you just, I don't know. For me, I like boldly remember them. They're ingrained. I will never forget them.
Yeah,
I got a good one. Apple Fest, maybe 2006, 2007.
Okay.
A couple of my cousins from the other side of the family asked me to come up to McNasty's one night there in New Boston. Have a few beers.
Wonderful area.
Yeah, of
Love
course.
that
You
place.
know, family. I bet I've been going there my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal. So anyway,
literally
I go
the
in,
corner bar.
I go in there
across the street from
and
the gas station.
You know, the place is packed, people to people, and it was Apple Fest weekend, so they were charging like $4 a can for a bottle of, can bottle, whatever.
Yeah.
So me and my girl, we had one, maybe 2 beers. Like, it's too crazy in here. These hillbillies are starting to fight each other.
It brings
and
out
shit.
the wrong
I'm
crowd
like,
sometimes.
I'm like, let's get out of here, right? So we're leaving out the front door, man. There's just dude walking in front of me 4 or 5 feet, He turns around. he started saying some really drunk shit to me, man. Like, so drunk, I don't even know what the fuck he's saying.
But you know the
Right.
intent behind
Yeah,
the slurred
absolutely,
words. Like,
absolutely. And
shit.
at that point, I was just like, come on, man. I just was like, go on, dude. You know, have a good night, right? You know.
Let's go our own separate ways.
Next thing I know, man, this guy hauls off and hits me in the jaw. But he was so drunk that it was a little tap, you know. And
There's nothing really behind the coordination there.
I'm confused as if why this guy even hit me or why he was even drunk talking me in the face, right? So next thing I know, he hits me again. And my wife at the time, she said, you gonna take that?
Yeah, you're gonna.
So I said, all right. No. So he had a hoodie on. I reached out and I grabbed him. I pulled him in and I gave him a good one. I pushed him out, pulled him in, I gave him one more. I watched the slow knockout. It was just like
Everything
boom.
shutting down.
And then he
like,
hit the ground, right? Same thing. Nobody fucking outside, man. Next thing I know, I'm getting choked out by some really big dude. I can feel him up on top of my shoulders, and he shut me out within like 3 seconds, man, maybe 4.
Well, your adrenaline was on.
And
you know.
and from what I understand, he just took me and fucking just dropped me, let me go backwards. So I went straight back, hit my head on the pavement, started convulsing. Both of these guys got up, stomped me out, fucked me up. I woke up, didn't know what happened, right? Get this, I woke up, not a scratch on me, not a bruise on me, not nothing. It was like somebody just walked up to me, punched me in the jaw, knocked me out for a few seconds. I woke up, but nothing happened to me, dude.
That's weird.
That is crazy.
No concussion, no bruising, no nothing. And it was just like somebody was there watching me that night to make sure like nothing happened to me. And I have no explanation to this day like how that happened.
Yeah, normal people would end up in the hospital with
that's the
internal
story of,
bleeding
like,
or
paralyzed or
something,
some issue,
some kind of horrible issue,
nothing.
right?
No
cracking your head off the
closed head
pavement.
injury, nothing, man. They just let me drop,
Wow.
nothing.
Shit.
So I believe in something. There's something or somebody. It's not just our brain that tells us shit. There's somebody that guides us, man.
There's some weird shit.
Cheers to whatever it is.
That's right.
We can't explain it.
Hey, it could be the weed, though. It could be the weed. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably the weed.
Let's hear it for those Northern Lights.
Thank you very much.
That's funny.
It's nice to be here, John. I appreciate you letting me come on.
Fuck yeah, man.
Glad you're here.
Shit. It's always a good time at the Corner House Chronicles.
True story.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a bad time.
No.
We've had times that were questionable.
Questionable is okay.
A couple of those shows never made it off the cutting room floor there.
Sometimes
but,
they get off the rails, but
Mm-hmm.
we try to rail it back in.
Yeah. We've done our best.
It's good. It's good.
We learn as we go.
That's true. Much like the new setup. I mean, we're getting ready for new equipment here. We got nice upgrade to the show that's going to be taking over.
I like it. I'm surprised you didn't have a fourth guest, man.
Getting people's availability.
Scheduling
With
is a big
ours,
deal.
It is.
Another thing too is people like to think that they're ready to come over and do this, and then they
I'm going
don't.
to be honest with you. It's tough.
It's nervous, right?
Yeah.
You build it up in your head.
It's natural.
I'm
You're
going to
like,
listen to this, and I'm going to be like, fuck that. Just edit the whole thing, bro.
Oh, yeah. You have those moments. Hearing your own voice is creepy.
I do that every show.
Every show. I won't listen to all of our shows afterwards. I'll listen to pieces.
Right.
Just because when I start hearing myself talk, I'm like, what the fuck is this idiot talking about?
Everybody does it.
Everyone does.
John's got a good radio voice.
He does.
He's got
He really
a good
does.
radio voice.
Once upon a time.
Not long ago.
You know, it's funny. I used to think I wanted to be on the radio.
You still could, man.
That
You
was
went to
my
school
job.
for it.
Yeah, but
Pirate radio, bro.
I don't think
Pirate radio.
Well, that's what this is.
This is pretty much
essentially.
Let's do
next
it.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got
It's-
plans for bigger things too, folks.
We like when I went to school for it, they were like, "Listen, if you graduate this program, there's a 95% job placement."
That's
I was like,
fucking
holy
huge.
shit!
Did you go to Specs Howard or something?
I did for 2
Okay.
months. I didn't.
Right on.
I didn't finish the program.
Well, that's enough.
There were a couple of issues that drove me away from it, but it could have been a job in northern Michigan doing farm report though.
Sure.
This is
sure.
It's
true.
on you to
Sure.
take the job.
Sure.
And it's up to you to be like, all right, from there, where do you go?
Right.
You got to build
Yeah.
your path.
That's a huge life decision at, what was I, 24, 23? I mean,
Yeah.
A guy I used to work
Yeah.
with when I worked for the city back, I don't know.
Many moons.
Many moons. He's referred to as Box, but he also, I believe, went to Specs Howard. And he got a radio gig from, I don't know, it was like early morning, like 2 to 3 a.m. on this, I don't know, I think Indiana that he went out to. And now he's one of the bigger DJs in his area.
You put your time in just like anything else. You're going to get there.
He has
if
a
you're
huge
good
fan
enough,
base.
right?
So it's like,
absolutely.
That's great for Bob.
And I've thought about it.
Wow.
But then now see, this was before I got into talk radio.
Yeah.
As soon as I
That's a
discovered
different
talk
beast.
radio, I was like, that's where I want to be. That's what I'm interested in.
How'd you manage getting into that?
7:60 a.m.
Okay.
at
Okay.
our local station.
Just driving around in the morning.
Ironically enough, it was fucking Mitch Albom, which I'm not a fan of whatsoever, but he's been on the air so fucking long. Now, if you want to count Drew and Mike and Howard Stern as talk radio, that's where it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're special breed.
Drew and Mike,
of-
yeah,
put
Drew
their
and
own
Mike
spin.
is
it's a comedy show.
He's in. I could
Yeah.
put him in a different classification as
Exactly. Much like Howard Stern or people like that.
They're in their
Howard
own
Stern
little
was
Opie
a
and
one of a
Anthony.
kind.
Yeah.
There's people like that have those shows where you're like, it's not really talk radio.
They've
it's
created
a
their
program.
Yeah, they've
you know?
created their own little
talk show, radio
world.
talk show, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a little more to it.
yeah.
Than when you if you listen to say Mitch Albom or Frank Beckman in the morning or something like even Rush Limbaugh, which is slanted completely and totally politics,
Yeah.
but it's a talk show because he talks. There's callers,
Yeah.
Drew and Mike and Howard Stern. They didn't take a lot of callers.
No,
when
there's
they did it was
skits, there's
specific.
yeah. They had different
That's all.
setups coming. They had comedians. They had
But that's what I was really into. Which is funny when Aaron first brought up the podcast idea. I had no interest in
initially. 'Cause
Right.
well, again, in that time,
Right.
there was like 4 podcasts.
it. Yeah. I think Adam Carolla was like one of the first people to really do one.
Corolla, Rogan. It was
Yep.
like, and you're like, all right, what's a podcast? And
What's
it's like,
going on here?
well,
No,
it's
I-
kind of like a talk radio show, but it's their own.
Actually,
Like-
if you think about it, no, I think think about Loveline or something like that. Remember Dr. Drew? used to
Exactly.
have-
That was a
that
forum.
that was actually like
pretty
basically
much.
like one of your first podcasts, if you really think about
Yeah.
it.
It was a show, but I mean,
true.
It was 2 hosts talking,
Yeah.
taking calls,
Yeah.
taking questions from the audience, and that.
Yeah.
It really was
Yeah.
a building block towards this platform.
Yeah. This is evolution.
Exactly.
We had to get in eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact, like now, it's such a big boom in the podcast industry. Like everybody has a podcast.
Everybody.
Everyone.
It's about the information.
It is. It really. It's how you relate to the people, the topic, what they're talking
Absolutely.
about. There's some amazing ones out there that have very few followers. Some great ideas. It's just how do you get exposure in this business?
Thank you to our listeners.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you,
huge
thank you.
Yeah.
We see your numbers. We know you're
Oh,
there.
yeah.
We
We
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
We keep coming back for more if you keep coming back for more.
True story.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of cheers, before we started recording, you were saying some shit about some Tibetan monk fucking beer recipe or something.
Yeah, they found a 280-year-old beer recipe, and they decided to fire it back up, and it became some really good beer. They're selling it now, and I would like to actually taste some of it because if you think about it, well, we got our first beer recipes from like Egyptians or something like that, I believe, somewhere around there. So the Chinese, they probably had some pretty good brew, and I wouldn't mind trying it.
Wonder if they mixed in some of that flour that Bruce Wayne had to eat on the way up the hill in that Batman movie.
We just know that there's GMOs in it.
There's a couple different.
Coming from China, who knows what's in it?
That's true. You like opium?
A little fentanyl.
There's a couple monasteries that once a year will do like release a brew in a short batch just to make money for
Yep, for their monastery.
Yeah, keeping like upkeep and
Keep it
supplies
for a year.
Yeah, and it takes a year to ferment and all that.
Yeah.
And apparently it's amazing stuff. But getting a hold of it, like the really big enthusiasts of craft beer and that, like once it comes out, it's gone. Like
It's got to be some fucking crazy, mind-blowing shit then,
people
right?
say it's amazing,
Yeah.
but
You
getting
imagine,
a hold of it, it's a different story.
yeah, or even all the ingredients, the right ingredients.
In the right time.
Are you sure the ingredients are still around after that long?
Well, I guess if they're still making it, they're probably just growing the shit right there on their property, so nobody even knows what's going on, you know?
Yeah, and it's like a recipe that's been handed down hundreds of years.
Yeah, in silence.
It's only in a book that you have to go to that monastery that's so isolated.
Like the head monk just slides his book out of the robe and hands it to you, and you're like, oh, the clouds open up, and you make the most spectacular brew ever known to man.
On par with that, though, George Washington had his own brew for an ale.
Yes, he did. I actually tried some.
I heard it's amazing.
I don't think they re-released it again.
Was it like bathtub gin or something?
No, Budweiser released it 2 years ago. It was
for real?
In those funny-looking bottles, just like that. I mean, it was called.
That's what the Budweiser release was.
Yeah, they did.
One of them.
Yeah, they released it last year. I think on actually the same day this weekend, wasn't it?
Memorial, I think. Yeah,
it was this weekend.
It was either that or George Washington's birthday, but it was one of those two. But it was a very small release.
Yeah, it didn't stick around very long.
No, but from the people that I've heard that tried it, said it was actually really good.
I'll tell you what, man. I bought a 6. I bought another 6. It was good. It was good. Even they kicked up the potency on the beer a little bit. Too.
Yeah, to make it a little bit stronger.
So it was definitely better than a regular Budweiser. Now, I didn't like the stuff they had that was mixed up with Jim Beam or whatever. I tried some of that. I don't even remember what it was called, but
they were trying to get in like the bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
Area of craft beer, and I'm never a big fan of those.
Well, I
sound exciting.
I like my beer and my bourbon separate.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Mixing them together.
I'm not a huge fan of Budweiser to be honest with you.
I grew up on Budweiser, so it's kind of like, having milk in your baby bottle. It's like, I mean, if you ask, Luke, Luke, anybody, I mean, all of our dads drank it.
It was always
grandpas,
it
was
at get-togethers, it was always on
that
hand
or some
somewhere.
PBR, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Or Bush.
It is what it is. But you ain't going to catch me drinking a Bud Light. That's one thing. I don't drink any light beer.
I'll go for
I will have
water.
Bud Light.
Really?
If I stop at the Speedway on the corner, they don't sell Pabst.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll just buy some Bud Light real quick.
I usually go with a Silver Bullet in those occasions.
See, the urination is the problem with light beer. I can drink like two Bud Lights, pee like 6-7 times, drink like a whole 6-pack of Budweiser, and only pee once. I don't understand.
It's odd, isn't it?
I don't get it.
Maybe something they add to it that just hits you different.
I'm not sure. But when I lived in Southern Illinois, I was going over to the Budweiser factory right over in St. Louis. It was only like 20 minutes away. You ever want to go to any really cool tours that are free? Great place to go, man. Great place to go. It's really big. It's old, super old.
Yeah.
And you go through a little ways. You get like a 4-ounce taster while you're like listening to the dude talk about shit. And then once you get all the way through, they give you a little token. You can go into the beer garden. Now, this is going to kind of blow your mind. I figured when you go into the beer garden, you can get your beers free. I figured they'd only have Budweiser and Bud Light on tap, right? I get up there, I look. They got Shock Top, they got Stella Artois, they got Budweiser, Bud Light, all like a couple different ciders and a few other things. And I said to the lady behind the counter, really quiet, because I didn't want to be loud, because it was Budweiser. I said, hey, I said, look, I'm at Budweiser. I said, what the fuck are all these beers doing up here? Like, these aren't your beers.
Where's Bud Ice?
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't your beer, right? And she goes, if you want to make a beer and you want to make a really good beer, who are you going to come to have it made? I like stopped and thought for a second. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, I guess you guys, right? And she goes, yeah. She goes, Shock Top, all these beers that are in here. She goes, we make all these beers for these people because they can't make them in big volumes like we do. And they're actually, Budweiser is one of the only companies that literally puts out a whole lot of beer, like more beers than you could even fucking think of.
Dude, I used to work for one of their distribution centers. They put a lot of shit out.
But very cool tours, man. You ever want to go there? They got like 3 or 4 different tours, man. Some of the best beer.
We actually have my sister-in-law and her husband and son live out near there. Shout out.
Just to be an apprentice, like if you want to be a Budweiser apprentice, you got to go to Germany, study under their brewmasters for 10 years. And
10 years?
10 years.
Holy shit.
And then come back just to be the apprentice.
Like, no offense to Budweiser, but their product is a mass-produced
True.
object. It's
very
not,
true. Very true.
I wouldn't anticipate having to study for 10 years to
You're
put out.
buying into a legacy.
This is true.
We don't talk
you have
about
to have-
Fight Club.
yeah, you gotta
know what
have,
I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
You got to have some smarts nowadays and paper.
Oh, yeah, I
It's
agree with that.
credentials.
But
Yeah.
still, I mean, for that product,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Like
you know
you
the
say,
story
they
behind
brew so many different
many,
things
yeah,
now
this
that
is
it's
true.
not just that product, it's that branding, that
Well,
legacy.
like Pabst, I think they have a contract with Coors, or did, and Coors would brew and
Their beer
bottle
for 'em.
everything
Yep.
for them. Mm-hmm. But going back further, Pabst worked for Anheuser and Busch,
Right. Right.
and then got pissed with what they were doing, broke
his own
off.
thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
and the same thing with the guy who started Corona. He worked for them too, and then he went down to Mexico, started his own shit.
Why not?
Yeah, and the whole
Why let somebody else capitalize
exactly.
on
If
you?
you're like, the product can be so much better. Like, the blue
Yeah.
ribbon on Pabst is a fucking thumb to the nose to fucking Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch, saying, I left you, did my own shit. It won the fucking first prize blue ribbon over your shit. And
Every student challenges their teacher
exactly.
eventually, right?
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so
how it works.
you go and you learn what you can.
Cobra Kai.
There you go. There you go.
that's right. Fuck you, Crease.
Man, I can't wait till you finish season 2.
I want to talk.
Both of you.
Yeah, yeah. For the
I
people
can't
that are at the table who haven't
Do you want any more?
seen season 2 all the way, I do have some questions for John that'll probably go either on another episode, but definitely after this show wraps,
Okay.
because there's things in my mind, and then from things that I've read and seen on other contributors to this theory.
The one thing I will say about Cobra Kai overall, whoever the fuck those people are that are writing that show, and I can't remember what their names are, but their callbacks are amazing.
They all
hit
needed a
you-
paycheck, man. They all needed a paycheck, and they're getting it because they're working for it. Man.
Well, no, the one writer actually
Telling
did
you.
a Hot Tub Time Machine. Like, he's wrote some
Yeah, he's
pretty
been
big
on some-
movies.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's not a it's not a YouTube thing. You know what I mean? That's a one of a kind thing for somebody to do and actually have more than 2 seasons on YouTube for anything.
Oh, yeah. And
know?
that's, I think, in my opinion, holding up YouTube Red, or whatever they're calling it now.
Well,
That and the no ads.
the thing about what I feel about their writing in that show is they're creating the future that none of us thought about for how many,
How many
years?
years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It was
Yeah.
just Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And then there was 2,
Yeah.
and then there was 3, and then there was
and
this
the
one, and then
spin-offs
the
and-
girl,
Yeah.
and now the
Yeah.
Will Smith one. And, you know, it was a story that we all watched as a kid
Yep.
growing up. So they're basically just writing
Yeah.
anything they
So
want.
are
know?
you saying that they should make a kids part 2? He like,
Shit.
hey, he got it.
Just
he
Casper,
got it.
baby.
He got
Oh,
it. He got it.
Jesus. I was gonna.
I mean, that's kind of the same. You know what I
it-
mean?
well, in a way.
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like Stallone pumping out the fucking Creed movies. Like, here's a different angle of that life,
Right.
that universe.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what they should do since Mr. T's still alive, man? They should.
Clubber.
Why don't they start a YouTube thing with, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Start
that'd
a
be
Rocky
fucking great.
thing.
Like a
have Mr.
spin-off.
T. Yeah.
Like he
same-
has his own gym or
same
some
kind
shit.
Same kind of thing as
And
Cobra
he's-
Kai, but do it with
yeah.
Rocky.
Or fucking
Trademark.
Yeah. Mr. T could train what's his name, Creed's son, and so
yeah,
on and
Rocky
so
trade
forth.
him, and then you got in the last Creed movie they had Ivan Drago, fucking Dolph Lundgren come back with his son.
Dude, he's such a badass. I love that guy.
Dude, that dude's amazing.
Smart as fuck, man. Smart as
He
fuck.
has oh my god, so many fucking degrees
Smart.
throughout the fucking world.
Very, very smart, man. Yeah.
Fellowship from MIT. Who the fuck has a fellowship from MIT and was also fucking the Punisher? Come on.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you, I like him in
It's a very short list, but
You need to put a comma in there.
a lot of the Expendables. He's pretty badass in a lot of the Expendables movies too, man.
that's true.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna say that's a pretty good 1, 2, and 3 movie. Is the Expendables?
I barely made it through.
They're
one.
entertaining.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't.
That was
I
brutal.
just like that they blow a lot of shit up, man.
yeah.
There's a
I
lot
mean, I
of shit
get it
that
for
gets-
what it is.
For what it is,
Yeah.
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 It is definitely.
But you know what? Now that I'm watching these comic book movies, I can suspend belief and go back and,
And
watch
that's what you
Expendables
have
and
to
probably
do
be okay with
is
it.
suspend
You know,
belief.
right?
Right.
I'm
Which
not
I've had-
good at that.
Neither am I. My biggest pet peeve with movies is continuity. Like when a guy's holding a drink and it's full, and then the next thing it's a different glass that's half full, and then it cuts back and it was the original glass. I'll stop all interest in the movie right then.
Right. Your brain is so specific that it goes right to that scene.
I forget what movie it was, but I was out with my girlfriend at the time and we were watching it, and the guy was wearing a red like button-up sweater, kind of Mr. Rogers-ish, and he had a giant blonde hair on his shoulder in one scene, and the next scene it was gone, and towards the end of him wearing that sweater, it came back, and I was like, I'm done. I looked over, I was like, I'm done with this movie.
I'll be in the lobby playing video games.
Pretty much. I was like,
nice.
I'll still I'll sit here with you, but I've lost all
hang
interest.
Out, but, yeah.
She was like, why? And I was like, he had a fucking hair.
My investment level is down.
Yeah. I even pointed out the hair originally. I was like, oh, there's a hair on his shoulder. She's like, why are you looking at that? Pay attention to the fucking movie. I was like, it's gone. She's like, God damn it.
I was watching Clerks the other day.
Good movie.
And I've seen Clerks.
Yep.
200, 300, 400, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of times, right? And for some reason, I caught something that I never, ever caught before. And I'm like, how does that happen? How do I see a movie so many times, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you never noticed that before? Or like, you never put that together before?
Was it a visual something, or it was
something that was said.
Maybe it's you, a different person now.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Back to that evolution of person, right?
Maybe,
you just focused on that different
that
dialogue
and
in a different
I'm just
way.
like, how come I never noticed that before, that he was saying that, or whatever? I'm like, that's kind of crazy, but it happens.
It almost makes you want to hit Kevin Smith on Twitter. Like, did you rewrite this shit and put it out, or what?
Yeah.
Because I've seen this.
I'm glad that guy's still alive, man. He was in real bad health for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Had the heart attack on that special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fucked him up pretty good.
He wasn't doing that well, but he's got all kinds of stuff going on right now.
Yeah. Another early entrant to the podcast world.
Yeah, he's been in it for quite some time.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
He's had a few.
Didn't they start in the comic book store?
One of them he did.
Yeah.
Their first one was Smodcast.
Yeah.
With him and the guy who wrote Clerks.
Okay.
And they would rent out little comedy clubs and do it live once they started getting going. Like one of their biggest hangouts was John Lovett's comedy club. They would rent out the upper half of the thing, and eventually got to the point where they were bringing in more money than
John Lovett's.
And they were just like, maybe we should just, fund our own shit here.
Bro, you're John Lovett's. Come on.
And I'll reap the benefits.
You've been in a lot of shit, but not starring.
I've heard a lot of creepy shit about that guy.
For real?
Yeah.
Seems
it seems
right.
legit.
I know
John
nothing
Lovitz.
about him except for like seeing him in movies. I've never heard anything
like from other comedians. They're like, yeah, it's a creepy motherfucker right there.
John Lovett's. Just don't put him and Bob Saget.
You gotta watch out for them funny motherfuckers, man. Something's.
Your brother, when him and his friend went to the World Series game.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
seen
my brother
John
got a
Lovitz.
picture with John Lovitz.
Oh, really?
It was like
it was creepy.
An aisle or two away, but
Yeah.
he was standing in front of him. It was just John Lovitz. He's just waving and wearing a striped polo shirt.
Yeah,
just
they said he had like a bag
blending
of
in.
the dipping chips, Tostitos, and like a dipping jar or something. They were like, John Lovitz, can I get a picture? And he just looked over creepily and just did a slow like arc wave with a weird look on his face.
All right.
Which is what he does in every movie.
Exactly. It's his go-to thing.
Here's a little Chicago thing. Maybe about 2 years ago, I'm riding my bike. I always ride my bike. I'm riding, stop at the stoplight, waiting. Dude pulls up next to me. I look over.
Forrest Whitaker.
No, man. Fucking Pauly Shore. Right?
Oh,
Pauly Shore. So I just
Did you give him
look
the
at.
weasel?
No, dude. He looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm just like, buddy. And he's like, buddy. And we both just drove off. I didn't say any more to
Just
him
casual.
or any less. Just and it's kind of crazy, man, because there's a lot of cats that live over by me. Vince Vaughn don't live far.
No
Eddie
shit.
Vedder don't live far. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of people that live around there, but it's just for you to run into them,
That's a weird
The
thing.
last person that I ran into that was famous, and this was at the Southland Mall when they actually had the whole food court before it was fucking
with the fountains
glassed
and the fucking
in, all that weird
McDonald's and
shit.
all that
Yeah.
shit.
Al Snow from WWE, dude, the hardcore. He was the hardcore champion at that time. me and my buddy Donnie were sitting there eating some McDonald's, dude, and he walked through in a McCarty jersey one night, and he was just getting ready to play Joe Louis that night when they still, and I was like, Donnie, man, I'm like, that's Al Snow, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, no. And I slammed the thing down, man. And I go and I like take off after him. And he's walking out the front doors like where Best Buy would be right now, you know? And I'm like walking behind him. I'm like, Al. And he just like turns around. I didn't even know if that was his real name, but that's all I knew him from TV, right? He turns around and he's like, what's up? And I'm like, dude, I'm a big fan. You know what I mean? Like, can I get an autograph? And he's like, yeah, sure, man. You know, you got something to write on? And I'm like, no, exactly. No, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, no. And then so he was like, all right, man. So I just shook his hand and went on about my day back and ate my food. And then I think about it, dude, I had like pockets full of money, like all kinds of shit the guy could have fucking,
receipt,
anything the guy could have wrote on. And I just like
katana sword.
Right.
You
don't not get his autograph.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy how you just like run across people like that.
I will say
too,
that if I was put in the position of like meeting Pauly Shore out in the world, I wouldn't just be like, "What's that, buddy?" I would be like, "Dude, son-in-law changed my life. Thank you," and I'd try to shake his hand.
I was in McGuckins. Is McGuckins still in Taylor?
Yeah,
still.
Yeah,
all right. I was in McGuckins. I was 20. It was my birthday. I was like 24, 25. I got this bullshit tattoo on my neck that night. Anyways, we're sitting. We had just walked in the door. I only been in there one night. I remember the place looks like a really long hallway.
That's all it
It
is.
looks like a long
is,
hallway to me. So we walked in. We were sitting right at the front right there. And then down at the end and right at the corner was Kid Rock, whatever you want to call him. And might have been his manager or something. And this was after Joe had already passed. Oh, okay. But he's sitting there, and I was with one of my buddies, and my buddies was all like, hey, I want to go down and talk to him. I'm like, dude, just like leave him alone, man. Like if he walks
Play
by,
it cool, bro.
Yeah.
If he walks by,
He's just a dude.
maybe ask him for an autograph or whatever. It's kind of a small place, dude. He's got a big dude with him. Just kind of, keep it cool and shit, So after a while, man, he walks by, and my buddy's all fucking wasted. He's just like,
I know, dude.
I'll
put Kid Rock on the radio.
Woo! You know what I mean?
Yeah,
fucking
just being that guy.
Dude, he comes over and he like signs a little bar napkin for him, which was like really cool, And I told him, hey man, I'm from here. I partied with Joe when back in the day. I didn't get into specifics, but me and a few other unmentionable names I won't say from Taylor, we did a lot of partying with Joe. Joe was a really fucking cool dude. So I kind of broke it down to him that,
Yeah.
And even my dad that went to Kennedy was friends with his dad, which was a barber, and his name was Joe. And so I'm telling him all this shit. Dude, he took the shirt off that he had on, like signed it for me. I took it home. The girl that was in the back seat of my car fucking threw up all over it. And took it with her, and I fucking like never like ever seen it like ever again. But McGuckin's Pub, dude.
Yeah.
Kid Rock, if you ever hear this.
And he was just sitting at the end of the bar, you know what I mean? Just chill as fuck, I'm just like, it's too small of a place, man. Just leave him alone.
This ain't the type of place you do that. Yeah.
No.
But,
I don't have many run-ins in my history with.
I don't think I've had a
like
real
famous people, or you know what I mean. Like you're like, holy shit, that's so and so right there.
Yeah, our cousin. Speaking of Joe C, was outside his house by the ball field.
Yeah,
and Joe C was riding a mini bike, and the chain popped off.
Yeah,
and he was having a hell of a time. My cousin helped him out, popped the bike on.
He used to, in the wintertime, triple fat goose. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day? Okay, well, they had the regular style coat, and then they had the trench coat.
Yep.
For some reason, he would always wear the trench coat. You'd see him, like, walking through the Kennedy field where we'd play at. He'd walk through there, man, like, half the coat would just be dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, Joe, what the fuck, dude? What's up with the trench coat? Like, why don't you just buy a regular coat? Fuck you, man. Blah, 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 blah. Your mom bought it for me, bitch. And I'm just like, all right, my bad. Like what? And I could never figure it out. The little fucking 4 foot dude, and you know what I mean? He'd wear a trench coat, but he didn't give a fuck, man.
No, that's one thing.
He didn't. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the last year that I hung out with him was like 92 or 94 or something. One of my buddies that lived off of Baraga had a 92 Thunderbird Super Coupe, right when they came out with the brand new body style and all that shit. And I spent a couple good days with him after that, man. He was a real cool dude, man. He was a real cool dude. He lived out a really good life, too. You know, for the time that he had on this earth, he lived a good life.
Especially that last however many years, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty
cool
much
story.
Late 90s to early 2000s was a good time for him.
Yeah.
Straight out of Taylor, baby.
Straight out of Taylor, straight
right.
off the streets.
So are we. Here we are.
Tailor made.
Those of you out in the world, this is what,
If you want to get gangsta,
it's been like in Taylor.
stop by.
It's right by the airport. You'll like it.
Yeah, right by the airport. You can't miss us. Just look for the potholes.
Now, that's one thing in certain movies.
Potholes and Taylor Police.
Not so much potholes, but like, all right.
The Taylor Police.
Yeah, they got their own thing going. Looking at you, Gardner White cop.
Here's to looking at you.
So is the FBI.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that.
That's neither here nor there. But like True Romance,
Oh, shit.
great movie. Now, from the way the main character Clarence talks about how he grew up next to the airport, he was either from Dearborn Heights or Taylor.
Well, he could have been in Romulus.
From the way he breaks it down, it's one of those two cities.
I would guess Dearborn.
Or
Dearborn Heights, whatever, you know.
I would like to think Taylor, just because,
Yeah.
hometown crowd. Worked at a comic book shop on the edge of Detroit. I mean, we're right there.
Yeah.
It's one of the two cities. And it's like, there's very few instances where
It gets
you
that
have
specific.
that close
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
a certain character in movies. Like,
We have had one or two movies shot in our city. So that's pretty cool.
What's that? Which ones?
You know, it was a straight to DVD movie.
Oh, okay.
That
Chinese bootleg.
No,
the
it
guy
was
who runs...
Dean Cain.
Oh, yeah.
He played Superman or something.
on
Right.
Lois
It was
and
like
Lois and Clark.
a kid's baseball movie.
Okay.
They shot it like right there at the
Taylor South.
right
No,
here.
Oh, over here at the other one.
Northeast.
Okay.
And then the baseball field next to my parents' house.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Isn't that the one over by the school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No, right by the church. Right off of Wick.
A friend of mine...
Miley Cyrus, I think, was in that movie too, but I don't know if she was
don't
ever in Taylor. And this was before she was, swinging on
She was-
cannonballs. And
Yeah, she was
Right,
still Hannah
right.
Montana. I think.
Right, yeah.
Well, she would have
yes.
fit in then in Taylor. I mean,
This is
Maybe
true.
Taylor's what changed her.
Ooh.
Fan theory.
Fan theory. Trademark.
Got one. I got one, baby.
There we go. And so it begins. A buddy of mine was living in Detroit. In the area they were filming the movie 8 Mile. So for months, he could not go home. Like, he would go home, and then there'd be security guards like, oh, you can't come on, it's a movie set. I'd be like, motherfucker, I live in that building.
Nope.
And they're like, sorry, you
don't.
got to wait.
Yep.
We're there
Yeah.
filming right now. And he's like, I'm not waiting. Or he'll, like, go out to take out his trash. And they're like, you can't come out, you can't come out. He's like, here, hold my trash bag. Put
Yeah.
it in that fucking dumpster.
that's how it is in Chicago. They got like the Chicago Fire, Chicago PD,
Yeah.
and then Chicago some other show, and they're like literally in every fucking neighborhood every other week.
That shit's got to get annoying.
You should go out for an extra, dude.
I really don't want to, man.
You just run through in your boxers and be like, Taylor!
You think maybe
wrap
I
it.
should? Maybe.
Wrap it
Hey,
once.
dude,
I mean,
maybe.
at worst,
You know,
you're spending a night
shit.
in the
Maybe.
jail, but you live in infamy on fucking
I could be
cable access.
I could be like the next Machine Gun Kelly, dude.
You could be. This could spur. No. This could be a whole new career. Just challenge Eminem as you're running by.
John gets it. Beard's weird.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Stop
Who
yelling
knows?
at the mic.
That was funny.
You can get. You might be in the Netflix fucking sequel to the fucking Motley Crue movie. You don't know.
I don't know. It's on ABC, so I don't know. I don't fuck with ABC.
Oh,
Fuck
man.
ABC.
Hey, you're talking about the mouse.
I know. I can't say that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I
that's not
apologize.
nice.
I apologize.
Pause.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, we got one more thing to do we didn't do earlier when we were discussing this week's beer of the week, our Untapped rating.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
talk
going to go
about it.
ahead and bust that number 3.
At number 3, are you
No,
surpassing?
I'm giving it a 3.
You're giving it a 3.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's pretty solid for
Are we
for
out,
you.
now I'm new to this, so are we out of 5?
Yeah.
Is that what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on?
it's a 1 through 5 star rating.
It's probably been about 4 or 5 months since I gave a 3 on a
It's-
beer.
I-
Dude, I'm having deja vu right now.
Oh shit! Full circle.
All right, I'm gonna read over the can a little bit, and then I'm gonna give you guys.
Are you aware of the Untapped app? I know you're not a fan of the craft beer movement as much as other people.
All right.
They generally the ratings work in like 0.25, 50, 75, 1. You know what I mean? It's in quarters.
What's the potency on this beer?
That's a good question.
What's the point? See, there ain't no.
Well, we have the Untapped app. That's where.
So this is a 4.2
okay.
ABV with 28 IBUs. It's pretty
So
low.
that's basic 4.2.
You know what? I'm gonna be seriously. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, okay. I would probably.
Go ahead.
With John, I would run probably a 3, maybe do a 3.5. Like I said, I'm a really big Oberon fan. Yeah,
I wrote that down and dropped the pen before you said that.
Like,
is that the Deja Vu?
I swear to God.
I'm a really big Oberon fan, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a good beer, man.
That's great.
I dropped the pen.
Yep, very nice.
Wow.
See, and that's how those things happen.
That is exactly. Those little brief moments
This
in time.
is time merging right now.
Exactly. Your brain.
See, it's weird when it happens.
These are
occasionally
family
with me,
brains.
but
These
I
are
think
family brains. These
maybe
are family
maybe it's
brains.
you, dude.
They're
Collective
family
conscience.
brains.
I think it's you. You might be like a
brains.
catalyst or a
Ooh,
lightning rod
you're an
or something.
antenna.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
antenna.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You know that
Your
little, you
wavelengths
know
are
that
too
weird.
similar.
No, listen. You know that weird place in
With a beard?
No, in Wyandotte. It's been there for a long time. Called the Cosmic Eye.
Yeah.
it's a
little shop,
Weird
yeah.
little. I went in there one day with some chick that needed to pick up some shit, and I went in there, and the lady at the front counter just kind of like looked at me and was like, and I'm like, you know, like, why are you looking at me all weird and shit, you know? And
Like you're trying to steal some tarot cards.
Yeah,
off the
but
show.
I really wasn't. I was just looking at the.
You're
pretty,
not going to take that crystal.
I was looking at the pretty rocks, you know what I mean? And she's like, you're putting off some kind of weird vibes, you know? And she's like, there's a guy next door that reads, you know? Why don't you go over there and talk to him and tell him I sent you over there? So I go over there, and it just so happens that the guy wasn't there, and there was some lady there. I walked up to the lady. I tell her what that lady said. She goes, I don't like the way you're coming off. Like, it was something like, I don't like the way that you're coming off to me, like your aura or whatever, and you need to leave, like, right now. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Like, what's wrong with you? And I've had other people kind of tell me that.
That's
like,
funny. He said, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, I know.
Not me.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? You know, like, this lady told me to come over here, and you're telling
I'm
me
fucking
to leave.
fine. You're the one that's getting the bad
What's
vibe.
your problem, huh?
So I mean, anyways, it could just be the family brains, dude. We're coming, you know.
Real quick, I'll tell you, because you brought that up. I went with my mom to a psychic reading for her birthday at the VFW.
Okay.
So there's like 6 different psychics in the room, and you sign up for which one you want to go to. And I was like, tarot cards. That's cool. Let's do that.
Yep.
Shuffles the deck. She's going through. She's asking me questions. I'm being very vague and sketchy. You know, I'm just not giving her anything. I'm like, I'm going to test you right now.
Yeah, let's see where this goes.
Shuffling. Cut the deck, sir. So I cut the deck and twice. Boom. Put it back together. I put it back together in a different way. She starts flipping the cards up, and she gets to, I don't know, it's like 5 in a row, and it's like 5 rows deep, right?
Right.
So there's like 25 cards, right? So
right.
the one right in the dead center when she gets to that flips up the devil card, right? And she stops and goes, oh. And I was like, can I ask a question real quick? Yeah, sure. I was like, how many of that card are in that deck?
Right.
One.
Like,
Just one.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
sure.
like, oh, man. And from that moment to the very end, she was like, you should probably change what you're doing, who you're hanging around with. You know, she was very focused on that one card. And I think it might have been my reaction to the card. You know,
Yeah, it
so-
could've
I'm not
been.
taking anything away
You're
from
not-
what she was
you
doing.
don't know if you're playing on it or
But-
she was. You don't know. Yeah.
One card. I mean, there's like 75 cards, 80 cards in this fucking deck. One, and it
Yeah.
happens right in the dead center.
Yeah, but
Oh.
think about what a magician can do with 52 cards. They can pull out any card they
That
want
is a true
anywhere
story.
they want.
That-
You know
that-
what
like I
I mean?
said,
So
She might have been playing on my reaction.
Exactly.
You never know.
It could have been either or, but you never know.
But the fact I sat down at her table.
As long as you listen, that was the main thing, that you listened to her that day. And you took it in.
And again, it's a moment
yeah.
that you felt you needed to change your path, your journey.
I didn't change who I hung around with.
No, but
I'm
you
still here.
You may have changed certain aspects.
Yeah.
No, they
Might not.
changed. I'm still the same motherfucker.
So, did you rate yours? What'd you rate it?
2.75.
2.75. Is that because you're not like the IPA guy and you're?
I'm not a big fan of IPAs. I do enjoy this one. But in general, I'm more brown ales in there.
I lean the same way.
Yeah.
I'm more of the fall type beer guy.
Okay, yeah. I'm not a real light either. Like I'm not into the light. I'm not into the blonde too much. You know, I like.
It might just be.
I like to keep it a little heavy.
My bias for this brewing company, man. That might be why I rated it a 3. You know, because like I said before, we haven't had a bad one yet. So
yeah.
I'm gonna keep buying their product. That's for sure. As long as it's on me to pick up the beer.
Yeah.
As long as they come out with more and more product.
That's gonna be my hashtag go-to.
So now, do you keep in touch with these companies? Do you at all let them know that you have a podcast and you review their beers? And
we've been in conversation with a few.
We pretty much put out the information that we do what we do,
right.
Whether they respond or not.
Right.
There's been a couple that we've contacted.
So maybe what about Kid Rock and his badass beer? I know that it's been relocated and it's not like actually made like in Detroit. It's a little bit outside, maybe closer to where he lives.
It's only Michigan. That's our only
but
rule.
Still,
except
well,
on the
maybe you should get a hold of them. Try getting a little hookup, man.
Hey,
we do
sponsored by Badass.
We do have connections.
Let's tag him in on Twitter when we post the show.
If he hears this,
you had your story,
exactly,
I mean, McGuckin's.
Exactly.
So,
McGuckin's Pub.
Remember that T-shirt you signed?
August 4th.
Mr. Ritchie?
It was August 4th.
Oh, shit. He remembers the fucking date?
I don't remember the year, but I know it was August 4th. So
it was on your birthday?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, my buddy took me there for my birthday, actually.
Oh, shit.
Well, he took me out for a whole week, man. He
Damn.
Listen, no, his family
birthday month.
Listen, he was the only person I ever met. He's got a really weird family, man. He said to me one time, he goes, "Mike, when's your birthday?" And I told him. He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Look," he goes, we're gonna celebrate your birthday for a whole week. Only 5 days, not 7. And I'm like, all right,
gotta
whatever.
Get the weekend to recover.
I'm like, that's cool, right? You know, and he's like, so every day, he's like, come up with one thing that you want to do or whatever, and we'll do it. And then, like, on the last day, I'm gonna do something cool. I'm just like, all right, whatever, man, you know. So like, I don't know, man. We'd like go to the batting cages or ride fucking go-karts or something, and then the next day, like, you know what I mean? The next day, fishing or whatever, you know, and then like. Dude, the last day, man, me and him went and we went and seen Kid Rock, Alice in Chains, and Cypress Hill.
That's not a bad night.
At Comerica, you know what I mean? Like, dude, one of the coolest dudes, fucking, and I don't ever know what happened to him, man. I don't know if he's in jail or dead nowadays or what, but fucking shout out to my boy Charles.
If you're out there.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, sir.
Wherever you are.
Cheers to you.
Uncle Chuck.
Well, on that note, I'd like to cheers to you, sir, for coming by.
I appreciate
you taking the time out of your short time here in Michigan to come over and hang out with us and do the show.
I told my grandmother I was in town for like 2 hours. I got here at like 2 o'clock today.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my grandmother's house by 4 o'clock. She said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, I go see the important people first.
Right.
There you go.
And that's my grandmother. You know what I mean? And then my mom came there, and I said, I got some other important shit to do.
Right.
And here I am. You know, other friends, they see me here and there. You know, you gotta see your family when you can. So
absolutely.
That is true.
That's what's up. I appreciate it.
And that's very important to us.
It is.
All of us, you know what I mean? Like that's how we roll.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we want to thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
And for the stories.
Oh, the stories
have been
great.
fun. If there
I
was
was
ever
a little nervous, but it's good, man.
If there was ever a solid beer drinking conversation, this was it.
Yeah.
We were like a pinball machine, and it was fun
bing,
as
bing.
hell.
Yeah, and it flowed well.
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't get into was our challenge, so we're going to save that for 85.
Yeah.
You have a report on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
This is true.
Which you dove into.
I did.
And I'm happy to report that not only did you watch the episodes I gave you as your challenge, but you watched a couple extra ones.
A few more.
I love it. And I have John Wick scheduled for, let's see, when this airs, it would be today. So as you're listening to this, I should be watching John Wick. And then the next episode, I'll report back what I enjoyed about the movie, because I can't imagine I'm going to hate it. You know, I'm a fan of Keanu. And now that I'm into this whole suspending belief.
I'm not a big fan of Keanu. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you.
Did you see John Wick?
I have. I've seen.
Don't tell me spoilers.
No. I've seen them all. I've seen all of his movies. The only thing I'm down with is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure
and they're coming out with a new one
and
soon.
Part of Speed. But for some reason, I can't relate to The Matrix. I can't relate to shit that guy's done. I don't know why, man.
Matrix was odd.
He's just not the dude.
It was
no
a different.
more. He's not like dude. Like
Right.
I can't
Right.
deal with it, man. He's too serious.
Have you ever seen Constantine?
Yeah.
good movie.
That's a great
No,
movie.
it is.
That's a
They
great
are
movie.
they are good movies, but for some reason, I just like
You're just not a fan?
No, I don't want him playing the parts that he's in the movies.
feel the
like
exact
I feel
same
that,
way about Tom Cruise.
I feel that there's
Fair
dude.
enough.
I was watching Days of Thunder the other day because they got it on fucking Netflix or something right now. And I'm like, Days of Thunder, perfect. You know,
He
spark
gets
one up.
great movies, but you could put other people in and it'll still be a great movie.
But you know what?
Like Last Samurai.
Like he made that movie, dude. Like Days of Thunder, he like made that part, dude. Like he was that fucking part.
I
Like,
agree. But
Top Gun. He was that part. He was that guy. You know. And then
Somebody
that-
else could have been that guy, though.
I
Maybe.
agree. He fit that
His
part because he
performance
could.
wasn't outstanding.
He's
Yeah.
just getting
The
really
role
good
was
roles
good.
for good movies.
Maybe he should have just been Cocktail guy.
It just stayed like that realm. Yeah.
Cocktail.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this: it's risky business putting Tom Cruise in a movie.
He threw it in there.
I see what you did there.
I get it.
Boom!
That was well played.
That's how we end 84, folks.
You got to get a little.
I got to work on that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to work on that.
You gotta
We
get
got-
some- you gotta
we
get
We've
a
been
little
working on
sound-
drops.
little
We didn't even
You need a
really.
little
Yeah.
sound effects machine, man.
We got things in
That's
the works.
the upgrade.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay,
the
okay.
Sitting on the
upgrade.
couch right
All
now.
right. All right.
To all our listeners, we want to thank you very much for checking back in with us at the Corner House Chronicles.
Hopefully
been
we
real.
didn't- Hopefully we didn't cause any deja vu for y'all.
Actually, I hope we did.
Well, in a good way.
Or if you
Acknowledge it.
have any, let us know.
Acknowledge
yeah.
it. Hit us up on Twitter.
If you have any experience
Facebook.
with that, we want to hear it.
I'd
That
love to
shit.
hear a great deja vu story. That'd be fantastic. Aside from the ones we told.
And not the strip club. Just throwing that out there now.
No, you can't do that. You
Now, wait a
can't.
minute. Those can be good stories, too.
Yeah, but I don't think they're for public.
That's kind of like Fight Club. You don't really talk about that. You
This is
shouldn't.
We just change the names.
Barry from Long Island.
But our names will always be the same.
What happens at Subies never really happened at Subies.
It happened in the parking lot of Soupy's.
Shout out to Benny.
Shout out to Subies.
All right. Well, until next time.